According to the research in Harvard Business Review, only 8% of people achieve their dreams, and 92% they just give up or they fail to do it. Perseverance is the biggest factor when it comes to success. Benjamin Franklin has been quoted as saying that energy and persistence conquer all things. And I love this quote from Steve Jobs. He says that I'm convinced that about half of what separates the successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance. In talking with today's guest, we are hearing an inspirational story of a leader who faced adversity early on in life and showed the power of perseverance to make a lasting impact. Welcome to the Level Up Leader podcast. I'm your host, Michael King. I am an executive coach and founder of Teams.Coach. I work with C-level leaders to clarify and expand the vision, elevate performance, and elevate their leadership. On today's podcast, I am joined by Kevin Cassidy. Kevin has been a Hollywood stuntman for over 17 years, featured in many movies that you and I both love. Spiderman, Ant-Man, the names and the lists go on and on and on. Now Kevin is making a big shift to tell his story to the next generation. Everyone, please welcome Kevin to the Level Up Leader podcast. Hi, Kevin. Welcome to the Level Up Leader podcast. It's so great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Michael. Good to be here.
Your story is inspirational, and you're certainly doing a lot with your life right now. Can you kind of give us a little bit of the backstory behind Kevin?
Short story. Long story short, I guess I was born with a pretty severe birth defect. I had a very severe cleft palate. Pretty much where my nose and upper lip were was a bubble. I had no roof in my mouth, no teeth, no nose. I had speech therapy all through school and a bunch of surgeries, and so then that led to like bullying and teasing and finding outlets and sports and writing and all the hardships that come with that growing up. Went on to play minor league baseball for a little bit. Was a teacher in Baltimore, Maryland. Really always wanted to mentor and teach and coach. Randomly got into a sport called slam ball. It was like full contact basketball on trampolines. I was on TV for a couple of years doing that. That shipped me to LA. I ended up getting in the movie business. I was a Hollywood stuntman for just under 18 years. Doing movie. I did Black Panther and Ant-Man and a bunch of Marvel movies. The Dark Knight Rises, and performed stunts and choreographed and coordinated stunts on some of the world's biggest movies. Then I started having a family. That took me away from my family too much. So I just retired from that a couple of years ago. And I was in London and Prague on Spiderman Far From Home for about 4 months, and flew home one weekend to see my daughter for her birthday and flew right back. So it's a young man's game. I'm going to hang it up and move on with my life. So then it's right about when COVID hit. So I had plenty of time because movies weren't being shot. So I got down and started writing the book I've always wanted to write. Opened a business, a Ninja Warrior business for kids. I have a competitive team, and we do birthday parties, mentorship programs, staff of about 30 in the physical gym. I have a mobile unit I've run out to like fairs and festivals. I have another sales team that kind of runs a mobile unit to sell to schools and churches. And I said I got the book. I'm doing speaking engagements, podcasts. I'm writing a curriculum around the book right now to train teachers and students about bullying and mental toughness. And so that's a long story short, I guess.
I love it. I love it. Well, you've definitely been a part of some really cool things. I'm a massive superhero fan and Marvel geek and all that stuff. So that's pretty cool. What are now you just put out a book, and you're booking your speaking schedule. What is the big why behind everything that you're doing right now? What's the end game in this?
I've always been pulled to mentor or coach or just lift people up, and I really like that world, and I'm pretty good at it, I think. I'm dialing that in and getting better at it every day. A lot of things that I went through in life made me very mentally tough. I had a physical deformity that was literally on my face and a speech impediment. I couldn't hide from it. So I had, like a lot of people or kids, they have something maybe that is a learning disability or family life, something they can hide under the rug and kind of back away from and maneuver around. Mine was up front. You had to figure it out. You're going to get bullied. Tomorrow you're going to get bullied. What are you going to do about it? Figure it out. So I was lucky in that aspect that I had a really created some mental toughness and some perseverance for me that really helped me throughout my life, going to college, moving out to LA, being broke, and all the other things that I kind of went through. So the Hollywood thing was really cool. Got me a lot of famous stars and work on some big movies. So I mean, that's a pretty good hook to get my real message out there of who you are matters more than what you are. Creating empathy, being better leaders by that. I was in charge of $1 million budgets on movies. You had to hire a bunch of stunt people, work with the visual effects coordinator, work with the fight choreographer, work with the director about schedules and everyone. So many teams you had to kind of put together, and becoming better at that. And I think the reason I was good at it was because I had so much empathy from my younger years that I treated everyone as an individual. I kind of massaged every situation on an individual basis. And I'm big on tough love. I'm tough. I'm tough with my kids, and I love them a lot too. So you can't have one without the other. And I was holding people to higher expectations individually, hold them accountable, and love them, and know what makes them tick, and know how to motivate them. So I've used that a lot. I think a lot of my story, what I went through in life, helped me build that part of my ability up. And I wanted to share that with everybody with a book and the curriculum I'm writing, and have people get to that point of who you are matters more than what you are. I was a bully kid and never internalized that. I can leave that alone and move on with my life. I was a Hollywood stuntman hanging out with the biggest movie stars in the world. Didn't internalize that, didn't care about that. I can leave that in a heartbeat too, because I was really confident in my foundational character and what I call who I was more than what I was. So I want to give that strength back to the world without having them get bullied and go through some of the traumatic events I went through in life. So that's my why.
Yeah, that's really good. I like the value statement of value who you are versus what you are. Are you finding that identity and confidence, character, are you finding that that's a little bit harder to come by with this next generation that you're speaking to?
It's definitely lacking for sure. I have a couple of full-time people I hire, and a lot of high school and college kids that come help me do my summer camps and my physical business of the Ninja Nation, Ninja Warrior studio. And a lot of kids, I think life is just so easy now. You can make $30,000 a year, have air conditioner, iPhone, a car. Like, technology has made life really easy, which is great, but it's definitely weakening people. Mental fortitude was easy back in the day, where if you were cold, you had to go chop wood, get a fire going. You had to figure it out, and you did it. And that made you had to do something hard, and that reveals who you are. It's very easy right now to not have to do anything hard. You can go through life without challenging yourself to do anything hard. Generations ago, you had to, like I said, chop wood, something hard every day just to get by. Now you don't have to do anything hard. And I think putting yourself in a position to do something hard, whether it's a cold shower, wake up an hour early, do some push-ups, do something that will maybe let you fail, and do something hard, kind of is what I try to preach to my younger staff, to build that internal strength, because it's really easy to be complacent in life right now, because it's, knock on wood, it's pretty good going. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. I found that people tend to have a tendency to lead from personal experiences. So I know that when I'm leading my team, typically I try to practice what I preach the best way that I can, but typically my biggest convictions are because I lived through something that worked for me, and I want people to experience the same type of success or the same type of outcomes that I've, as long as they're positive. Trust me, I've fallen flat on my face a million different times, but it sounds like the way that you lead, especially when you talk about tough love and valuing who you are versus what you are, you have some stories that are attached to some of those convictions. What was the moment that you can remember to where you decided that you had to level up your leadership? What was the story that was attached to that?
There's a lot of ones in the movie business, because you get put in some positions where you're just a stunt guy. I was the bad guy in Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket. I was his stunt double. Everything the Yellow Jacket seat was me, going through the window, doing all the fights. I was the supervillain in Ant-Man. And that role, you show up, you train your fights, you do what you have to do. Someone tells you what to do, how to do it, you perfect it, you train, you do your job, and you kind of go home. And then when I started getting behind the camera, now I see, okay, well, the guy he had to work with the special effects coordinator and this guy and the rigging team to figure out the lighting and where it's going to go. And I started getting more jobs where I had to do more than just be a stuntman and organize like a whole set. I said, oh man, I got to figure this out. I got to find out who are the best guys around me that I can hire to make me look good, because you're thrown into some things that you need to have a good team around you. So number one, that's huge. And luckily in stunts, everyone came from nothing and you had to prove yourself over and over again. So there was no overnight sensations in stunts. So the guys I came up with, I knew I had a relationship with. I knew who to pull from, what to pull from. This guy's good at fights. This guy's good at horses. This guy's good here. Let's get this team together and really run with it. And then dealing with different directors who might be a yeller and not organized, or the scene changes, or we're doing this fight in the woods. Great, choreograph it, hire the people. A week before we film it, you know what? That's in the parking lot now. Well, all the stunts are people hitting trees. There's no trees in the parking lot. Yeah, figure it out. All right, who can drive a car? I don't know who's better. And so you kind of pick the best people in the best spots. So a lot of those movies, because it's just go, 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 things change on a dime, and really finding out who's with you, who can do what, and have that in your back pocket. Who you can lean on for what, have that in your back pocket. Because I might have to go to a budgeting meeting and leave the guys alone to train. I'm like, what are we training? Probably this, but here, run with it. I gotta go to this meeting. So having those teams and people that can count on really was a aha moment. Man, I really gotta find individuals that can come together and really wrap this up. And that's really blossomed in everything I do now.
That's powerful. That's super great. You wrote a book called Falling Down to Find Myself. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
What's kind of the big takeaway from this?
I'm calling it a philosophical memoir. It's a story of my life and up to this point, obviously, with some philosophical themes. One is the who versus what kind of thing. My who was A, B, and C. My what was a bully kid, a popular kid, an athlete, a homeless broke kid, a Hollywood, stuntman. Those are all my whats I didn't care about. My who brought me through the transitions and made me a better person. So I carried that through my story. And again, I'm trying to get that out there for people so they can, be a little bit more internal focused and not anything. I say, if you want a new idea, read the old book. These are not new ideas. These are like the Stoics have been saying them for years. Know thyself. There's 1,000 ways to wrap this up, but I put all those things into correlation of my life. My life's a pretty good personification of all those kind of things and why they make you a better human. And at the end of the day, a happier person. You got to find out what makes you happy and work towards that. And no one's happy if all their happiness is based on external factors. I don't know if it's your job, your car, your anything. You can name 1,000 things. That's a shallowness to you. So you have to be happy with who you are internally before you can build that foundation up. So that's the book. My life with those philosophical kind of themes running through it. Some cool stories of me in Hollywood sets, working with some great people who really also personify that. I did a movie called Salt with Angelina Jolie and had to do a fight scene with her. I was only in the movie for 2 weeks. They fly me up to New York. I do a fight scene with Angelina tomorrow. I'm like, oh, all right. I think she's going to be kind of a diva. I don't really know how to handle. A lot of times you'll have trained with the actors, you get to know them, but sometimes you just come in and come out. So this movie, I came in for a couple of weeks and came out. So I didn't know everybody on set. And, oh, man, Angelina, she's going to be kind of a nightmare to work with. I really go, get my P's and Q's, be polite, and don't look her in the eye. Or I was just really in my own head about her being a diva. And after meeting her for 5 minutes, all that was gone. Shook my hand. How you doing? Knew everyone's names, getting water for people, helping clean up. No, we doing this fight scene? Okay. Just the nicest, down-to-earth, caring person. Immediately, I didn't care what she was. I didn't care that all her what's a famous superstar. All went away in 10 seconds because her who just was, oh, this is a good person. I don't give a crap what all that stuff is. So there's a couple cool stories of Hollywood people who have that. And that's kind of a goal to unlock whatever that is in other people. So
powerful. That's so good. And one of the things I love about your story too is that, as I'm working with leaders, sometimes leaders can they can almost get too attached to the platform or the thing that they're doing and not really kind of ignore the thing that they're being redirected to do, or maybe what their true calling is. For you to be a part of these movies and to be an established stunt person, have multiple different levels of your career in full swing, and for you to go, you know what, I really know what's important to me. I'm going to go ahead and step away. What was that like for you?
it was relieving and then a little scary weight lifted a little bit, because the last 4 or 5 years of my career, probably 2 or 3 really, the passion I had for stunts, improving myself, and I call it, I gotta go kill a buffalo. I'm a kind of a Cro-Magnon man. I need a goal to hit, and stunts had that very tangibly. Like, get this movie, get better at this, do this, and I'm killing buffaloes. I'm fulfilled. I'm happy. But that kind of pulling back to like mentorships and help the world out, I felt like I was being selfish. Like, I'm living a great life. I'm making money. I'm traveling the world like movie sets, but I'm kind of not getting fulfilled by that anymore. I feel like I really need to get out there and give a message, or just coach a baseball team, high five a kid. I feel drawn to that world. That's more important to me. And then me having kids really helped me. No brainer. I got to go and be involved in these kids' lives and do that for them. So it was a little bit scary, but I was ready. And the good thing about the stunt world, there's no agents, no manager, it's all word of mouth. And I built up a huge network of friends that now run big movies. I can always make a phone call. I'm like, hey, you guys need somebody? I'll fly down to Atlanta or whatever. And I work for a week and high five you and get that. The locker room feel is what I miss, the guys and the physical outlet and all that. I like to say a little bit overcorrected. I went from London and Prague doing Spiderman to home all day long driving my kids to. So I need to find a middle. I need to do a movie like a week, a month or something. I need to find a little bit of that balance. Plus, I have 3 girls, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So I'm kind of in the trenches right now in that case.
Yeah, absolutely, you are.
Yeah. And my wife works full time and she crushes it, so that helps a lot. That financially, I can take a big financial hit as I build this business up, the ninja business, and my book and my speaking, and a whole nother, 5 companies from the ground up. So it was a little bit scary, but I was very ready for it and excited about it. And then when COVID hit, it was a no-brainer. I had all these stories written out. I had all these presentations done for different parts of my life, who I was going to present to, whether it's corporate media or teachers or students or whoever. Had all this stuff and stories. And when COVID hit, I didn't really do all this information I've been writing for years. I said, you know what, just write the whole book, get it all out there, and then put it out. Then you can take part of that book anywhere and give it who you want. And so I did that during COVID, and it was a passion project that ended up just taking a life of its own. And so now I do miss movies a little bit, just a freedom to just go fall down the stairs and have a beer with my buddy. But I'll go back into it. I'll be able to step in and step out once my kids are in school and all that. So there's no ego attached to it. The big thing is ego with me. Like I've been humbled my whole life over and over and over again. Right? You think I was going to get drafted to play baseball at a high level. I got wrongfully arrested and thrown in jail and did jail time, lost my scholarship. They finally let me out. I had to sign a contract saying they won't sue them or defamation of character. There's a bunch of stuff happened. And so I got hit down a lot. So it was very easy to be humbled my whole life. I could have been a really bad human, I guess, if I didn't go through all these humbling experiences. So there's no ego attached. There's no self attached to me being a stuntman. So that was a no-brainer. Like, a lot of people get attached to their identity is what they are, especially if it's cool and flashy. And I can send you a picture of me and Tom Holland. Like, I put value in that. I never did. So it's easy for me to walk away from that and start something new.
Oh man, that's inspiring. You've naturally kind of have gone through the trenches on multiple different things. Obviously, connection with people is important to you, and the outcomes of you making an impact with your life. It really sounds like that things are going in the right direction for you. You have a book. You're booking out your travel speaking right now for companies, for schools, for organizations, for conferences. We want to really get behind you and do whatever we can to really help elevate your platform. How do people get a hold of you?
I have a website, kevincass.com, KEVINCASS.com. You can get my book there. My book's on Amazon. You can get my book anywhere. And I wrote the book as kind of a quick read. So I had 2 versions of it. One was kind of like a 400-page deep dive, character development, the whole movie. And then as I was talking to other writers, like, what do you want to do with the book? But I want to use that as a tool to get in front of people. When you got to knock it down to 150 pages and make it, people can read it in a week and really digest it. So the book is short and sweet with all the cool, fun stories and the philosophical themes in there. So pick up the book. It's a quick read. And then they go on the website, contact me. It all goes right to me directly. I'm going to start loading up a lot of these podcasts I'm doing. my curriculum, my speaking. I got some big ones coming up that I'm gonna professionally film and have that in my marketing toolbox, and start really building the website more towards speaker focusing and less for the book. But it'll all be there. So right now the website's just a little bio about me, buy the book. Here's a couple of podcasts I've been on. I write some articles on Substack as a hobby. A couple of those free thoughts on there. It's just kind of like, it's me in a nutshell. Eventually that'll morph into more, here's me on stage, here's what I'm doing, here's my curriculum, here's the goals, here's all that. So that's being built now. So if you have any help building that, I'm all ears. And like I said, I love meeting people and communicating. That's one of my strengths of building a good network around me. I really enjoy. I'm a people person. That's huge for me. So
I love it. I love it. So we have a Facebook group called the Level Up Leader Facebook group. How about that, right? It's pretty simple.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The Level Up Leader Facebook group.
Yeah.
And so right now we have, I think, 300 or 400 people that are actually in the group that listen to the podcast. And we'd love for you to join, so people can ask you questions directly. And who knows, maybe there's somebody in there that would love to be able to have you out and speak at their event.
Yeah, I'm already I'm in the group. I watched your the little trailer you put out the other day about your intro and everything. So yeah, I went to it this morning. I looked at the page. I'm already in the group. Awesome.
Love it. Man, well, I'm excited to get to know you more, and I think this will be a cool friendship, and just kind of see, man, watching you thrive and blossom from this point on. So congratulations on all the things that you're doing, and thank you for being who you are.
Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for being on the show.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for joining us today on the Level Up Leader podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, consider leaving a review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps to get the word out. And make sure to like, subscribe, and to follow so you get all of the episodes. Kevin shared his big value statement focused on who you are rather than what you are. I can relate to this. In working and coaching leaders, identity is the place where everything starts. The first ceiling that a leader eventually needs to face is removing false narratives about who they are. We cannot compete with horrible ideas of who we believe we are. Changing what we believe about ourselves is paramount to any leader leveling up. A special thank you to our featured artist, Names Without Numbers, for allowing us to use their music. We decided we wanted to feature music that I produced as a music producer, so that's really great. To find out more about everything that we're up to, please check us out at www.Teams.Coach. And don't forget to join our Facebook group at Teams.Coach/levelupleaders.